All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Call to the Pen. We have the privilege of bringing a guest on, Juan Pierre. No offense, kids, my favorite teammate I've ever had. Played with him 2013 with the Marlins.
I saw your post. I was kind of offended by that.
Kohler was too. He sent me a message. Juan played with TK. TK says the same thing, though, you know? Anyways, what's our go ahead.
Give him his credit. He's a World Series champion. When you introduce someone, give him his credit.
World Series champion, career 295 batting average, 614 stolen bases. Did I get that right? Yep. Unbelievable career. Played. How many different teams do you play for?
6, 7 if you count Miami Marlins and Florida.
There we go. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Immaculate grid. Extraordinaire. Hey, fill us in with what you've been doing these days.
In the introduction, you didn't tell how many career home runs I had, bro.
Oh, I wasn't gonna go there.
Come on, man.
I witnessed one of them.
18 career home runs. I can name every pitcher, the time of day, what inning. Name all 18 of them. What am I up to? I'm just being a dad, husband, just enjoying it in the travel ball baseball circuit, which is bananas. I need to get you guys on that because they pitch these kids way too much.
I know.
Where I'm at, man. You have 12-year-old kids doing. Well, you see the Little League World Series. These kids doing 85 pitches.
Yeah, 2 days off. At it again. I think it's like 2 or 3 days.
60% breaking balls.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, snapping it. But other than that, man, like we just talked about, it's just trying to enjoy and be a dad and being the best husband I can be. That's about it.
No, that's great.
Here's a great underrated stat that I, playing throughout the years watching you. 2,200 hits.
Yeah,
you led the league twice in hits, over 200. You had 220 and 204. You had over 200 hits 4 times. 4 times,
yeah. I was sneaky.
Yes.
Sorry,
go ahead. Go ahead, Juan.
No, I was sneaky because I didn't, and I played like me and Ichiro kind of like pattern. You know what I mean? He I think his first year was 01 and mine was 2000. So the year I got like 220 hits, it felt like I was getting hit every game. And that's the year he got like 260. So it was like,
that's crazy.
You know what I mean? So I was like the poor man. Ichiro was way, way better than me, but we had similar hitting styles and did similar type things during that time period.
Absolutely. I mean, you played what? Is it 5 years in a row, every single game?
Yep.
I mean, that's rare.
3, 4.
Who does that nowadays?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my biggest things, people always, what do you in your career? Stolen base, World Series. I'm like, one of my things is like 2004. I played every single inning, man, in Miami, and not the cover window. Yeah, Hard Rock.
Yeah.
And you know how it is to be out there. I mean, the game's 15-0. We're down, wwhatever. Guys get out. No, I stayed in, man. And my game wasn't pretty. You know what I mean? I had to run, steal bases, get dirty. But as you know, man, guys have a lot of respect for guys that post every day, man. Whatever you bring, when you bring it every day, and that's all I ever wanted to do for my team was be able to be available and be out there every day. And that was like one of my big. I think that was the year I got the 220 hits. Was that year, but being posting every single inning, man.
Yeah, the best ability is availability. I can't say it. Availability. There we go.
Yeah, you go.
I'm stuttering myself. We got that.
What's crazy is how was you not an all-star in 2004? You led the league in games, plate appearances, at-bats, hits, triples. Caught stealing, but that means at least you're trying.
Always, yeah. I was always on the high. I took risk, man.
How is that? I don't know how you're not an all-star. You were never an all-star is a problem.
And then the crazy thing about that one, and I love Jack McKeon to death. That's one over. But that 04 was the 03 we won the World Series. So he was the manager of the All-Star team.
Oh my God. We need to get that conversation started.
Oh, man. It's like, bro, throw me a bone here, man. You know?
Wow.
Man.
That's insane.
But it's all good. It's one of those things. I think I have the most career hits without being an all-star. I think that's one of the things with social media, they throw out all this stuff like you have no idea about. And when people say, I'm like, oh, that's that's a pretty cool one to have, I guess.
I guess, yeah. It's like a back-ended thank you. No, that's incredible. Walk us through that 2003 season. Obviously a special team. Like, what was it about that team that made you guys a World Series caliber team, other than the talent?
Yeah, the talent, and we were a family, man. All the good teams you guys been on is like guys went out to eat, guys hung out. One of my greatest memories, I think we were in Atlanta, had an off day or whatever, and we were gonna play basketball. And it was like 12 guys showed up to
Wow.
play basketball, like horse and stuff, like you know what I mean. And that's unheard of on an off day. The thing in the big leagues, off day I get to pick my own friends that day. You know what I mean?
Lay in my bed all day.
Yeah, lay in my bed, man. I pick my own friends. I don't want to see you guys till the next day, But we were a family. We had arms. I mean, Beckett was unbelievable. Penny, and that was the time where 95, 96 wasn't that. A lot of people weren't doing it. We had about 3, 4 guys in our rotation that was like 97, 96. And the back end of our bullpen was great. Our defense, we had Gold Glovers like Lowe, Gold Glover. Alex should have won a Gold Glove. Derek Lee was a Gold Glover. Louis was a Gold Glove. You know what I mean? Pudge behind the plate. But yeah, it was an unbelievable team, and the way it was set up, old school way, where we had speed at the top, me and Louis, the guys that could hit in the middle, and then in the back end we had guys that can do it, man. So it was just it was a team, and then going up against it. We beat 3 storied franchises. We go up against Barry Bonds. That's the ball with Pudge's coat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like crazy. So everybody's like going crazy. Then we play the Mighty Cubs, and then that's the Bartman ball. You know what I mean? So it's like, it just keeps getting better,
That's
and
right.
then to try to go against the mighty Yankees, which in Game 6, we go there to got to win that one. To win it, and during BP, that's all they're playing is like the ghost. You know what I mean? You got Mickey Mantle, you got the whole thing. So we just watching it. We're like, we don't see no ghost today, bro. So and we had the confidence. We were young enough to have a confidence to go in there and win. We had enough quote unquote pricks on our team too. You know what I mean? You gotta be a little like Beckett, and I say this with much respect. He was like one of the biggest pricks I know, but that's the guy we needed to go in there because he didn't see nothing that Yankee stuff, man. So it was you don't realize how special because that was my 3rd, 4th year in the big league. So you think, you know what I mean? But as you play longer, you're like, man, that team was really special because I haven't got that feeling back.
Yeah, until your travel ball team wins it all.
Yeah. Well, I'll be one of these travel ball coaches. Oh, it's the goal of my travel ball team to be #1 ranked. I'm like, I'm just trying to get these kids developed. You know what I mean? And these coaches really want these teams to be like ranked in the nation.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable.
How do you imagine after a playoff run like that for who you play? You'd probably just go home and you sit there and you just laugh. Like that was insane, and how fun that was. Like there's not many times you can go through, especially the Giants series, the Cubs series, and if the Cubs series enough, now you got to reboot. Now you got to go face the Yankees and like keep that. Luckily, you guys are young, but I can only imagine how like, mentally exhausting when then you just sit back and laugh. Like, man, that was so much fun.
Yeah. We celebrated because when we beat the Cubs, that was like a World Series because they were so close. Like what I mean? They haven't won in I don't know how many years was it at that point, and we had to wait, because the Boston and New York was on the other side, and that's the Aaron Boone home run. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we're actually sitting on this is before all the social media, like we're sitting on the tarmac waiting to see if we're gonna go to New York or Boston.
Yeah.
Because the Cubs, as nice as they are, they kicked us out of our hotel the next day, the room. So we were like in the convention room where we had to bring all our stuff. So we're walking down Michigan Avenue just waiting, and in the game they're like, all right, we gotta go to the airport. You know what I mean? We just had to sit and wait and see which way we were going, man. That's how far we've come. But it was crazy. So after we won the World Series, bro, like we couldn't even celebrate anymore. Like it was like guys were just worn out, man.
Just exhausted.
Worn out because the wild card was crazy because we had to come up. You know what I mean? We were under 10 games under 500 in like May, June. So every game was like a playoff game. So then we clinch against the Mets. So we celebrate. That was in Florida, and then the Pudge Ball crazy, you know what I mean? And then so I'll tell you, bro, we won the World Series, bro. Everybody was like, all right, man, it's done. All right, it's
The
done.
job is done.
The job is done. But like going back, man, watching, the highlights and stuff, even like the Cub series, like you're in this game, you guys know this. When you play, you just like locked in. You don't really notice the fans, but then you watch like the DVDs and the DVD. I'm dating myself. You know what
Just
I
ate
mean?
yourself.
VHS tapes.
VHS tapes, Funny question. That's how I used to like stealing bases that year. It was still VHS tapes. Cullen McCray, God
Yeah,
rest his
C-Mac.
soul.
Hmm.
Yeah, God rest his soul. But he would have to do the VHS tapes and fast forward and get a guy on first base, and hopefully it wasn't like Jeremy Giambi or something. You know what I mean? Somebody
Yeah.
like a slug that to watch the pitchers move. I
Wow.
mean, it was
Wow.
yeah, it was crazy, but just couldn't believe it, man. Like the Cubs, they had like 30, 20 or 30 people outside. And y'all played in Wrigley, and like outside of the
Perfect.
stadium was just slam packed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Incredible.
best. The best.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I still can't believe it, man. Honestly, like, cause Shrek know me, man. Like, it's like, and we think the same way. Like, we were big leaguers, but it was like, I can't believe I was like a big leaguer.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
one of them
especially this
ones.
guy. He never
Talking
ate the
about
big
this is
league
a big
food.
league
He
book.
wanted PB&J every day. I'm like, bro, we have a chef.
Yeah.
Like we're playing for the Cubs. It's a show Cubs. He goes, no
But
PB&J.
did we have a chef in Miami when you played your last year?
Did we have one?
No.
Did we have one?
No, we had
That
Bean
was
cooking
Bookie Bean,
quesadillas.
yeah, Bean, and Dom
Yeah,
was cooking.
Dom, and we had two clubbies in the kitchen just
Bean
cooking
was still
quesadillas.
there at that time. He was there when I was
Yes.
there.
He was
Yeah,
there
now he's the head guy. Bean is the head guy now.
Oh, is it really? That's cool.
Is
I
it
didn't
really?
know.
Good for him.
Yeah,
They
Silver's
didn't
not
get
there
a
anymore.
chef. They didn't
Silver's
get a chef
gone?
there till 14. Yeah, Silver's gone. Yeah.
That's crazy. Bean was there when you were there. That's funny.
Oh yeah.
And Dom was a bat boy when we won the World Series.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, he was a bat boy, so he
Wow.
like grew up with us, man. So that was like funny to see him like as an adult now,
Good for them, man.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
awesome. Good for them.
Well, hey, you didn't get a chance to play with him, but this guy worked at it every day. Like got after it. What did you get up like 6 o'clock in the morning, even during the season, every day, pretty much?
During
Like
the
got to the
season?
field. If he was up, he'd get up
I was up
early
early.
during
I
because
was a
he'd
breakfast
commute
guy.
from Parkland, big breakfast guy. First one to the field, last one to leave. What was it that motivated you every day? You already won a World Series at the time. Like what was it that kind of got the engine running?
It was just my DNA, man. I think it started with my parents, being hard workers and just having to struggle for everything we got. Both, Shrek, what round you was drafted? You was a high pick, wasn't you?
Oh, fifth round.
Yeah. So you don't know. I'm talking to Brandon right here. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
40th round, man. Come on.
Yeah. And you got me beat, but was a late round pick, man. Was quote unquote supposed to be an organizational guy, and just had to work and put up numbers. And that's why I envy guys now, because guys getting called up batting 240, 250 now. I'm
Oh
like
my
that
God.
that wasn't happening back in. You know what I mean? But good for the players. Like I'm always on the player side. Like I always
Right.
pull on the
Yep.
player side. But that mentality of just having to prove myself every level, because I was a smaller guy, even getting to the big league, oh, he's too small, he can't last. And just having that mentality of like, you can always get tapped on the shoulder, like, hey man, it's over. So I wanted to be there. That's why one of the reasons too, I never want to take days off. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
like, man, you give somebody else an opportunity. Cause that's all I was waiting for was an opportunity to get in and someone gets hurt and that's how it all came about. Because I was in A-ball, short season A-ball. I got drafted, was sitting the bench, wasn't playing. I'm like, oh man, I should have stayed for my senior year probably. Somebody gets hurt in high A, low A. They move up, boom. I win a batting title in like short season A, and then that like just propelled me, to get my career going as quote unquote like a prospect or whatever in the
Right.
organization. And just never left that mentality, man. It's like anything you're gonna do, you do it to the best of your ability and go all out. And that was the biggest thing that most people remember me for. It's not the
Yep.
stolen base. Anybody that played with me is like, man, this guy got after it. This guy got after it. So that's
Absolutely.
and to be able to pass that on the younger guys, because Shrek was a younger guy at the time. Him and Tom Kohler. That's why I always say that, because I was sitting the bench and I was taught with the pitchers all the time.
Yep.
I ran with the pitchers. I was like a pitcher at heart in 2013, but had some great conversations. So that's what I think is missing in baseball now. Just guys talking the game.
Yep.
Doing everything now is just numbers. Guys on their phones, and I get it. We didn't have all that access back then, but just that conversation, man. Whether it's you're a closer and I'm a leadoff guy, you know what I mean? It's still common ground that we can talk on.
I feel like everyone's too sensitive for those conversations these days, though. Or like a coach will hear that you're having a conversation, and then they'll pull you aside. Hey, you don't talk to so and so. We got numbers, or I'm the coach. Like I can never hold back, because I would just want to help everybody get better. And I feel like sometimes coaches weren't there. So let's just say I helped another reliever with their delivery or something, and then word got to the pitching coach, and then he's all sensitive, and the bullpen coach is mad.
Yeah,
like, we're all trying to win. We just want to win, man. Like, just stop being so sensitive.
Yeah, and whoever unlocks it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It doesn't matter. We want the best player, out there. That's why, like, even when I help out the Marlins, and like, I'm real cognizant of that. Like, when they be like, "Oh, you talk, bro?" I talk about family. I ask about how their family's doing. Like, that's what I talk about. I don't even talk baseball with them. One of the fact is because people are sensitive. Like, I don't want anybody's job. You know what I mean? I'm just here to help the player. If they come ask me stuff, maybe. But most of the time I talk, because once you get in that cycle, it's hard. So I talk about family, how you doing, off the field, because a lot of that stuff plays into it as well. But that's basically what I do when
Your
I
mental
do
health.
go up there. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Who did you model your play after then? I'm pretty sure I remember you telling us who, like, your biggest, like, what your sports idol, baseball idol was when you were playing. Like, who did you model your game after? Anyone in particular?
Well, my idol was, I didn't have nothing like a game like him, was like Darryl Strawberry. Like, that was my guy, like posters, whatever. But who I modeled my game after was Kenny Lofton.
Yeah.
Kalo. Yeah. So that was a big thing too, because when we played the Cubs in that series, Kenny Lofton was in center field for the Cubs when we in 03.
Oh yeah, that's
so I'm like, man, this is crazy, man. I'm like, I'm watching him trying to see what he doing. I'm like, man, I gotta catch his ball if he hits it out here. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those moments where he's like, man, I look up to you, man. And that's the biggest compliment, because some, the comments, people could say, oh, he was a poor man's Kenny Lofton. I'm like, bro, that's the greatest compliment you can give me, man. I'm like, hey, he should be a Hall of Famer too. I'm putting that on record. Kenny Lofton.
Can you golf like Kenny? Kenny's a good golfer.
No. I heard about it. No, I don't golf. I don't have the time yet. Once my wife start golfing, then I'll do it, man.
Smart man.
Have the time to go out there and justify being out there for how long it takes. It's a good. How many? If you go golfing, a real golfing day, how many hours is that?
3 to 4.
3 to 4. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's on the light side. I heard some guys like 5 to 6.
Well, that's if you're at a bad track and there's slope play going on.
But do you go on the driving range first and you warm up
like
and
20
all that?
minutes?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're like Steve, you just show up and suck, and then you just leave anyway.
Show and go, baby. Yeah, I got a family.
But I heard you could drive the ball really good, Shaq. You got a good drive.
I do all right. I thought I did. Let's
talk about your home run, man.
Yeah.
We got time.
And we need to talk. You guys need to have a home run derby together. Is what we need to have.
Oh man.
Oh, he'll beat me.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know. I just ran into a ball. Closed my eyes, swung hard.
Oh.
I pretend like I had a driver in my hand. Just all right. I told the guys.
I saw the celebration when you crossed home plate.
Yeah, I improvised. I had to improvise. I was like, I see my Latino teammates do this. This looks cool.
All the time.
Yeah, subtle. So they didn't get my subtle bat flip, so I knew I got it.
There you go. Now you're talking like a pitcher. Before you didn't talk like a pitcher. Now talk about your bat flip and everything. The trot was okay.
My first at bat was embarrassing. I let off the inning with a roll over to second, just like flipped the bat out, and he threw me a cutter. Like some college kid.
Frustrating, right?
All right, I'm like,
it's very frustrating. I know.
I put on the serious face for an at bat. I was like, I told my buddy Mike, if he goes a little bit up and in, I was like, it's gonna get in my loop, and I'm gonna send it. The kid went up and in. I sent it.
So you
I
should
got
come
a
back
good look at
after
it.
hitting, man.
See, Rick Ankiel did it. He's my neighbor across the street. Maybe I can.
He's into the travel ball stuff too. He was.
He just
I
got
used
it.
Is he
to.
really?
Yeah, he's coaches his
Yeah.
kids team now.
I saw him at a couple tournaments. He
Oh,
was going. I said,
we gotta
Rick.
get your boys playing. My buddy's got a pretty solid team here. We gotta get a little rivalry match going. Get you
How
guys up
old
here
are
to
they?
play a game. 11 and
How old is
12. How old are your
just out
kids?
of yeah? I got a 13U and a 10U, which my 10U team is pretty solid. We'll be
You know
playing
what?
like 11.
Actually, it might be a 13U team. I'll figure it out. We'll talk about it later.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get on it.
I know. They'll be like, man, y'all just talking in this podcast, bro. What are we doing
That's
here?
that's all we do. Locker
talk
room. It's
shop.
like the locker
There's
room.
no plan. There's zero plan.
Yeah, that's awesome.
One question I did want to ask: the game has been so different. Is there's nobody like you, Ichiro? I mean, even Billy Hamilton was kind of like that guy before he kind of like just went out and like stopped hitting. But why do you think there's just no one? There's none of the slap hitters, steal the base. You know, the guys that just drive you nuts when they get in the box. You're already like, when you get in the box, you're like, okay, he's up, and everyone on the field is alert of what's about to happen. You know, there's just really no one like that. It's like, oh, this guy might hit a home. Yeah. That's how it is now. So why do you think the game has changed so much away from that?
I just think like it has become such of a numbers game. So like how you feel on the mound when like a guy like me comes up, like you can't put a number on that. Like you can't, you know what I mean? You can't. Oh, this that's correlated to this or this guy bobbling the ball or just creating havoc. So everything now is really like a number. So and you don't, and you talk to the guys that played it, like bro, we don't get paid for that. Like you don't get paid to get paid to slug your OPS, your all this stuff, you know. Because I talked to one guy. I'm like, bro, you're fast, man. Why won't you steal any more bases? He's like, bro, if I get caught, it kills my war. It's like it kills my war. It's like
no way that was an answer.
Yeah, it's like, bro, it kills my war. That's my war goes down if I get caught. So I gotta know for sure that I'm gonna make it. Because if not, then my war goes down if I get caught stealing. I'm like, bro, I would have never even thought of it. You know what I mean? Like, but
that's the
I think
problem, though. That's why you're
I
on a
know.
World Series team, and that's why some of these kids aren't, because they're just worried about themselves. They don't show up on how they're going to help the team win today. They're like, how can I help my war? And that's probably the biggest problem, I would say.
Yeah, and you know, as a pitcher with all the other stuff, you know what I mean? When guys either make an error or something, you know what I mean? Like the stuff like when guys back in the day, if you pitched, right, and you gotta make errors, hey bro, don't worry about it, you'll get it, you know what I mean? Now they blow up on the guys because it messes with their whatever stat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whip, or if it's an error, or it's a hit and
Or
it
it
should
should
have
have
been
been
an
an
error.
error.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, I remember pitchers would get upset, but now it's like a haul off war because I'm going to arbitration with this stuff, man. You know, so it really has become individualized. But the teams that do still win it every year, I think they have components of that, like the Diamondbacks. They ran the bases last year. You know what I mean? Texas didn't strike out much. Like they still room in it in the game, but I think just from up top, you don't get rewarded for it. Whether just even saying good job or with money, then guys
Right.
see no incentive to do it.
Yep. And that's why I think like the A's for a period of time and the Tampa over the last however many years have been solid teams because they got guys that aren't getting paid a ton, but they're all selfless. Like they just get after it. That's it. They know they're not getting paid. They know they're the underdog. They have that little edge about them. That a team that gets guys loaded with talent that is only worried about how much money they're going to make the next year. I feel like those underdog teams rise to the occasion because that's all they got. They got each other. They're not worried about their war and stuff like that. They're just going to create, like I love what you said, create havoc every single game. So
and honestly, just being in this travel ball circuit, it really starts like at 12, 13, 14, like that me stuff, because kids gotta have Instagrams, and I know their parents run it, but they have Instagram, and it's always the kid just working out. If you show a highlight, it's just of me. It's never of a teammate. It's never of the team actually winning. You know what I mean? It's all just look at me. I'm working out. I'm doing this. Okay, look at me. I got a double off the wall. Look at me. I hit a home run. It's never like the kid next to him and hit a home run or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's embedded in them. So as they move up, it just becomes just me showcase. I'm gonna go in and throw how hard. I got 4 throws from the outfield. I'm gonna just throw hard and hit out hard. You know, pitching. They just want to see my velo. You
My
know, everything
velo.
is so individualized, man, and you can't really fault them almost because like they don't know any better. You know what I mean? They really don't. And you know, Shrek, or you coming up, like you had guys that taught you this stuff, like. You
Yep.
know, and you had guys that taught you how to be a big leaguer, how to handle yourself, how to
Yep.
do stuff like that, and
Yep.
they'll call you out if you wasn't being a good teammate, or you just worried about yourself, or you slam your glove because somebody did something. Like, bro, I'm calling you out on that, man.
Yeah.
You know, but
You can't
you know,
call
like
people out now. No, you can't do
no,
it now.
and getting back to the sensitive part, you know what I mean? Yeah, so it's a different game. I still because the guys, and you can see it, man. The guys' talent are off the board. Like
Oh yeah.
when I played, they're the talent guys running way faster than me and hitting the ball. Like I said, man, like Ellie De La Cruz, Acuna. I'm like, how you run just as fast as me and still hit the ball 500 feet? Like that's not fair. Like you know what I mean? Um, but I just think the team concept, knowing the game, that's the part that has suffered. Um, but in their defense, this is how they want it. You know what I mean? This is how they lay it out for them, and this is what gets you paid, so to speak. You know?
The hard part when I face guys like you is when you get in the box, I'm already nuts going in my head. I'm like, is he taking or is he ambushing me? And like, how do I even start this? So it's like if I lay it in there and you ambush me and all of a sudden you hit a homer or a double, I'm like fear. Like I'm just like, why did I just lay it in there? And then it's like if I nibble and you're like, man, this guy was taking the whole time. And then you like, now I'm
Yeah.
in serious trouble. It's just so like you have no idea what those guys are gonna do. When these days, like Kyle Schwarber is a leadoff hitter for Philly.
Yeah.
You know exactly
Yeah.
what he's doing.
Yeah, he's trying to get you in the seats, no doubt
Yeah.
about it.
There's already a plan, but when you got the leadoff hitter to start the game, or you come in the 8th inning and let's say you're leading off, and I'm just like, I don't want to go 1-0, but do I lay it in here? And what if he just ambushes me, and then now I'm in serious trouble?
Yeah, and
They don't have
that's the
those guys.
the cat and mouse game that we enjoy. That's the the man one-on-one type thing, and it's not just okay numbers. You know, you got to have a feel. I don't know if you saw the thing because Maddox has a
Yeah.
documentary.
I was hoping you bring that up. Yep.
I can't
Yeah,
wait for
he
that
has a
to come up.
documentary like Barry Bonds. I'm like, man, and it was like a 1-minute clip, and I'm like, I'm all in. I'm like,
Yeah.
awesome, man. You know, he thought he was gonna do this. I thought he was, you know what I mean? And guys used to go to the bench and talk like that, you know. And like I said, I'm not belittling the game or nothing now because it is different. Like we didn't have iPads. We didn't even have
Right.
that opportunity to have this stuff. You
Yep.
know what I mean? So it's not me saying it, but it's just that cat and mouse. Like for me, I would get on. I'm like, all right, is this guy? I'm watching the infield. So if a third baseman strikes out his at bat, you know what I mean? So I'm watching them take infield. If I'm leading off the end, you know, some guys they bad. They're like, I don't even want a ball, man. I'm mad because I'm like, all right, I got one shot to bunt on him. He's still thinking about his at bat.
That's
I
advanced
got one
thinking.
shot to get him. You know what I mean? Or when I get on there, you see the second base. Hey, I got it. First base, you got it. The pitcher turns right. Hey, you know what I mean? And you already halfway won the battle then. And I,
Yep.
I
Yeah.
couldn't even been thinking about button there. I'm like, I got him. You know what I mean? And I
Yep.
haven't
That's
even done
crazy.
anything yet. You know, so and sometimes I will bunt. I give you the first at bat in the World Series. I went home like thinking about, I'm like, all right, man. David Wells on the mound doesn't move well. Like I'm putting the bunt down. Like I don't care if I get out. I'm gonna set the tone where they're gonna like, all right, the Marlins, because we were known for a bunting team running, doing.
Right.
I'm like, I'm gonna set the tone whether I get out. It's like, all right, these guys really do this stuff every time, and laid down the bunt, got past David Wells, beat it out to first base. Next 2 pitch hit and run, sack fly is 1-0 within like
Just like
six
that.
pitches. You know what I mean? And it set the tone for the rest of the series. So rest of my at bats, Jeter, sorry, all the guys are like playing in and in, like
See, that's
infield
what I'm
in.
saying.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I don't think I bunted maybe once more that whole series.
And he didn't throw those pitches with conviction because he's thinking he's got to get off the mound.
Gotta
And
get
now
off
you
the
already
mound.
exhausted his legs a little bit just by making him run and chase that. He might have pulled a hamstring. Who knows?
He actually hurt his back. The fourth
See?
game when he
There you
pitched
go.
again, he hurt his back. The first inning, he got me out, but had hurt his back. Had to bring Contreras in because he had to bring in. Then as you know, that kills the bullpen. Now everybody's
Oh, yeah.
scrambling down there, and we ended
Everyone's
up
on
winning.
edge.
We ended up winning that game
For the
because
next couple
guys was
days.
pitching out of their normal spots.
Psychological war.
Yeah,
What it
you
is
know,
right
but
there.
nobody would ever think that. Like now, they were like, "Oh, he just got hurt." No, it's the bunt. I knew he had to move around. He's a bigger guy. He ends up getting hurt. You know what
That's
I mean? And
crazy.
then
Was that
little stuff like that you can't
No.
qualify though.
You
You
have to
know?
sit there. The only way anyone would know about that if you sit there on a podcast and talked about that story. Everyone's like, wow, that's actually really good thinking. Like the whole Maddox and Bonds thing when they're talking about, they're like, wow, because we would never know. But if I'm just watching the game, like, oh, he tried to bunt and Wells, whatever, and he got hurt. But you're like, no, that thing was planned from the day or day before. And the psychological war in the bullpen. Anytime the long guy has to go out in the first or second inning,
It
we're
messes
all like,
everything up.
when are we going in? Now my whole routine's off.
Mhm.
Yep. Totally. Was that in? Just curious. Was that in Florida?
Yeah, when David Wells got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you have the whole bullpen scrambling. A lot of those guys are going in the game. They're taxed. They just pitched in nasty humidity. Like that's draining, dude. That's tough.
Yeah.
You have to recover for the next day. You're feeling it. I don't care who you are.
Yeah. It's that, and that's the part of the game. Like I love, like the cat and mouse. Like even when I got on, like they knew I was still in the catcher. Was like, what pitch is he going? Like when is he going to do? You know what I mean? It's just. I just love that part of the game. And then when you see it now, where like you said, as a pitcher, if you just don't throw it to their one spot they're swinging, you'll be all right. You'll get an out. You know what I mean? Because you don't know if it's 2-0 or 0-2 with the hacks some of these guys take.
Oh,
I'm like that. I'm like, that's 2 strike swing. I'm like, wow. But
exactly.
again, they say, well, strikeouts don't matter. So. Why would you tell a guy to try to make, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard. It's really hard. But the teams that actually win, and I think it's going to come back to that, like, eventually.
Contact,
I do. Yeah, making more contact, putting the ball in play, forcing the defense to work, making pitchers move around so they don't just sit on the mound and chunk 100 miles an hour at you. Like, have them think about something else a little bit.
Yep.
How we were talking about before we came on with the pitch clock in the game now. Let's just the bases, the step offs. Like one before that even came out. Let's just say 2 questions. So what was your key on watching pitchers when you were playing on? I got him. I could steal. I can go now. And then how do you think it would be? How much easier would it be now with all the new rules?
Yeah, it changed as I went because when I first got in the league, like guys would pick over on their own. Like you would have to like think of a mind as a pitcher. I mean, like in the pitcher's mind. So I give you like Andy Petty, who had a great pickoff move. Like I would go like first move on. I wouldn't know, but like I would do little so I get like a smaller lead. Or if they pick over twice, I'm like, no way they're gonna pick over 3 times. So I'll go like do that stuff. But later in my career, the coaches call pickoffs. Like, you know what I mean? So now, because you know what I mean, like back in the day, you hit a double or score a run, pitcher's upset. I'm like, all right, I go first pitch right here. He's not thinking about me, you know what I mean? But later in my career, I'm like, all right, the manager's thinking about me. You know what I mean? So like he'll call a pick here, you know what I mean? So that part changed it, but it made it easier because as a pitcher, I would just watch video because it's totally hard to do. Like if you know you're picking, and then you're going home, like most pitchers do a little something different when they know they're picking. You know what I mean?
100%.
It's hard to be the same where they dip their head, maybe they take a breath, just something real subtle. And later in my career, that's why I think when I was with the White Sox, 2010?
Yeah.
I think it's 2010. I stole like 68 bags. I was like 33 years old. That was the most bags I ever stole. Yeah, that's the most bags I ever stole because I was just stealing it off the pitchers, reading them like that when they were coming over, when they were not, because it was coming, straight from the bench thing. But now with the I call them the pizza box bags now too. That'll help out some too.
Yep.
And with them right now, I would just study and be like, all right, let me try to get this guy to pick over twice, or knowing they only got 2. Really, you know what I mean? So I would watch video and play, and you just know they can't waste them. So I think it would be a lot easier, Only thing now I would say with the pitch com, I would have to see how that would work. I'll be at like more on the catch because back in the day you could look in on the signs, and see that stuff. So that thing, but sometimes you could look in on the catcher. Some of them move different, like
the way they
getting
move.
set up for the breaking ball, or they sit for the fastball, which I know it probably be different now. But I think it's a lot easier to steal bases now. 'Cause I can watch from the stands and watch on TV. I'm like, this guy's not picking. Like, he's not picking.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
catchers totally give that away. I remember sitting on the bench when I was playing, might have been Chicago. Buster Posey, for cutter, he would just like stay here, but breaking ball, he would always have to like he'd move his finger, his shoulder would roll, and it was like so easy to tell. It was insane. But I don't know, how is no one else picking this up?
Yeah, yeah. And you back in the day it was collectively. Like we'll have one coach on the bench with it. Like that's his job was to, hey, get the signs. Let me know what's going on. You know, if I didn't get it beforehand, because you know that you watch on tape. Once you get in the game, you know you got to figure it out. But I love that part about it. Like Verlander is actually still playing, but Verlander had a real quick move, like super quick.
Yeah, quick
But
feet.
it was only on the way up. If he came set, then he wasn't coming over. You know what I mean? So it was one of those one like that kind of stuff. You know, I just love it. And sometimes I'll still get caught. Obviously, I think I'm like tops on the stolen
You
base.
got caught. You led the league in caught steals
Yeah,
a
a lot
lot.
of times. A lot of times.
One,
Yeah,
two,
I was
three,
that
four,
guy,
five.
man. And guess
Jimmy,
what?
you gotta
That's
go.
why, like, honestly, I wouldn't even get a chance to play nowadays. Like, I wouldn't have made if the game was like it's played now. I would have never made the big leagues because I didn't have exit velo. Shrek could tell. I used to get like a cracked bat. If I cracked my bat on the label, I would use it because I wanted just to dump in.
What?
Yeah, dump in. I needed to go past the infielders and right in front of the outfielders, bro. I didn't want hardwood. I wanted softwood. I'm like, I knew my
Yeah.
game.
I've never heard
Yeah,
of that
like
before in my life.
like I sold out to my game, man, and I think that's how I got to the big league so quick because I just the first rule of baseball was like know thyself. Like
Yeah, know what makes you successful.
I try to hit the ball hard as I can. It wouldn't even get to the warning track. So I'm like, all right, you better get this short game down to the T. You know what I mean? And that's what I did. But exit velo, even stealing bases, I would have been terrible at because I got caught stealing so much. You know, but people don't know the context of sometimes why I got caught stealing. But that would have killed my war. You know what I mean? So like literally, I know I wouldn't have played in this era. I don't do nothing that says my arm strength wasn't great. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was just like I was just like a pesky player though, like a dude that you hate playing against, but kind of liked on your team. Kind of.
Kind of.
Well, and you get the oven mitt. That's an extra 4 inches that you get to reach to the bags. And they got bigger bags and an oven mitt.
Yeah.
It's a handout nowadays.
Yeah, they're like, please, we need more excitement in this game. We'll let you guys do anything.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's so important for this next generation. Like, I don't know, kids that you coach and stuff like that. Like they need to learn the game that you played because the game's going to evolve. It's going to go back to the way it used to be. Then it's going to flip back. It's just we talk about it all the time. Remember, kids, like 4-seam fastballs are the play now. The sinker balls are starting to come back. You know,
sinkers are coming back. Oh my God, we don't like the home runs anymore. We like we like ground balls now.
So like, I just think the next generation is really important for them to hear this coming from you because that's what we hope to see too. You know, the game's just going to be so much better for it.
Yeah, and the fundamental side, like the fundamentals of the game hasn't changed. You know what I mean? It hasn't changed, but like you see a guy when lay down a bunt now or do something to make guys throw the ball over the field now because if you don't practice it, you know, pitchers y'all do your little PFPs in spring training, probably don't even do as much of it now. And then you get guys moving around and doing stuff that they're not accustomed to doing. It messes with you. I don't care what anybody say. Like it messes with the guy on the mound a little.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
There's some of the worst throws to first base these days. I mean, this thing is some of these throws aren't even close from a pitcher. It's like shameful. Like, what are we? Be an athlete.
And that's another thing. Like I will watch, and I still tell guys now. I'm like, if you hit a comebacker to a pitcher, whether it's a bunt, hit ball, and he gets it and runs it right over to first base and flip it. I'm like, he don't like throwing the ball, bro.
Nope.
Yep.
Like he don't. And then as a guy, I'm like, all right, when I bunt, I want him to field the ball. Like I'm not on the line or foul the way you talk. It's like, all right, I want this guy to field it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I want to see if he can make the throw. And it's usually kind of what I would do on the first base line because that short one. Usually, if a guy has to turn and wheel and throw, they're pretty good.
Alligator
On the third base line. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So all that mind, like I would watch all that stuff because later in my career they did have computers, so you can put in bunts. You know what I mean? So you can see whatever guy it is. You can just see them fielding bunts or short balls like that. And there's like 3 or 4 dudes. I'm like, they can't throw the ball to first.
No.
Wow.
Yep.
I did not nobody know that. You know what I mean?
That was me. Could not throw a ball first.
Yeah.
I worked on it hard though. Like I
Yeah.
was just brutal. Like I felt like I didn't have anything in my hand while I was throwing over. It was the worst feeling ever. But I worked on it like crazy in spring training.
I hate seeing the pitchers take off and run. Like just even if you're close, just give a little overhand. Just a little flip. Don't the take off and run underhand. Like, come on, man. That just looks so bad.
That's such a good point. I was surprised no one bunted to me more often because they like everyone in the league knew I couldn't throw the ball at first base. It was such a grind. The one
Yadi
time
Molina knew you couldn't pick off the second. He took off, stole third on you.
He got me good. He exposed me good. I'm Yadi, the slowest guy in the game. And then
like
Kits wears me out after the game. I was so mad.
Yeah. But
we had to do PFPs in left field the next day because Yadi Molina stole on Steve.
Yeah, we're a team, man. We're a team.
And that's the only time guys will get out and do PFPs during the season if they screwed it up in the game.
That's right.
You know what I mean? They're like, pitcher coach be like, all right, 3:00 tomorrow, everybody on mound.
That's what happened, but we had left field, and I was like, this is so stupid. Steve, you should be doing this by yourself.
Oh, man. But that's the stuff like it'll come back, you know, man. But like with all the analytics, all the stuff, like they do have a lot of this stuff. And I would say, because I've been around there, so you go in the big league clubhouse now, it's like every coach has a laptop, like just grinding, like, you know what I mean? Like even the base running guys, like when I go to more like John Jay and the third base coach Griff, they just like hammering out. But the guys don't do it. You know what I mean? So they're doing it. So they tell the players, but it's like the players have to show ownership in it too, because it means more than where I used to sit in front of the computer for like 30 minutes. All right, let me see if I get it. Like you can see more than them just doing it and then going telling the guy what he does, you know, which it helps. You know what I mean? But I feel I don't want to be that guy. Well, when I played, you know, we used.
Well, it's true.
You know,
That's true.
Yeah, you know, but it's you take ownership in your craft, so to speak.
Yeah,
I love that. I always did my own video work before the report, because there a lot of times you're like, can't throw sinkers of this, and this, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna go watch myself. I'll go watch myself against these guys or someone similar. That way you can just you see their swings on a certain pitch, and you're just like, or like, say it was a bad sinker and they hit it out. Well, that's a bad sinker if I execute it. But they'll go off the scouting report. Well, he hit this thing. He hit 330 off sinkers. Well, what were they and where were they?
Were they good ones? Yeah.
I hate that.
And that's also because that's what Greg Madden said. He said I executed my pitch. It was the wrong pitch, but the pitch when Barry Bonds hit the point, I'm like, that's like a Hall of Famer, bro. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, bro, I made the pitch. It was just the wrong pitch, but it wasn't a bad pitch, you know? Yeah.
What did Barry Bonds say? He said you don't you don't come into the penthouse unless you're invited.
Were you here when he was the hitting coach track, or you were gone?
No, I was gone. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was unbelievable, bro. That was the most I ever been like around Barry Bonds. Like I played against him, and you hear the stories about him, but like, dude, he thought like, bro, and he got Yelly right, Ozuna, like all those guys were like went to another level.
Yeah,
just in their thinking, I think. You know what I mean? Stanton, all those boys were only, he was only here 1 year. Yeah, he was only there 1 year, but I think he got them like thinking stuff like you wouldn't have ever thought before. I don't think he did nothing necessarily to their swing, but like he's legit. He saw the game different, man.
Yep.
He saw the game.
That's awesome.
Different.
Wish I got a chance.
Yeah.
Well, we talk. This has been a great conversation. The 43 minutes flew by. We could talk about this all day.
Wow.
Yeah.
I appreciate. You got anything else for him, Steve? Because
I appreciate your time. Hours. Yeah, seriously, this has been great.
For Steve, how was it playing left field that one inning? Speaking of left field, Brandon brought it up left field. I'm like, oh, Steve Shrek played in left field that one game.
He did play left field.
Who's the third base coach of the Brewers?
Cedar, Eddie
Cedar. So I ran in to get my glove. I'm like, hey, give me my power shag. I used to power shag. Give me my glove. And I went out there all excited, but Cedar was the third base coach of Brewers was even more fired up. So he goes, Sheesh, I've never talked to him in my life. He's like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, go get him. Like, get out there. And so I ran out there, and I was like, I was good until Zobrist gave me his glasses. They were like prescription or something. I put them on, and like, I was like, dude, I couldn't see a thing. Like, I took off the glasses. The glare was terrible. I'm like, please don't hit the ball to me. This is not what I was signed up for.
Oh man, that's playing outfield in Wrigley, man. I played 1 year. It's like for about
this was Milwaukee.
left, center,
Yeah.
and you were in Milwaukee when that
They
Day
were
happened?
in
game,
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. In the sun
Oh,
You
was
know the
okay.
coming through the
windows. When it
windows.
comes to the shade,
Yeah,
the windows.
okay.
Oh,
All
dude,
right.
such
I
a
thought
bad
you were
glare.
in Chicago winning because Wrigley, that's how you hit about 3 innings. You're like, please don't hit the ball to me. And they game, every left field, like the beginning of the game, center, like the middle, and the right field at the end. You're like, all right, bro, please don't hit the ball out here to me. I
Yep.
can't see nothing.
No, Ryan Braun was still in Milwaukee, so they got to manipulate the roof to make sure it's right for Ryan Braun. So that's what happened right there.
Yeah.
What's funny is I read
No
read it real quick. Read an article after, and it was Lorenzo Kane was being interviewed, and he's like, "Man, I don't know what was going on, but then I saw him come back in, and my feelings were hurt." I was like, "That's awesome." He ended up getting the best of me later that year, but it was great.
That's awesome.
Brought me
Man.
back in just to face him. So,
all right, Juan. Well, thank you for your time. This was an amazing conversation. We'll have to do it again.
Awesome. Yeah, man.
for sure.
Anytime, man. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it's like talking in the clubhouse, man. So
That's
this
right.
is
That's what
awesome.
it is. That's what we do.
It's awesome.
All right, guys. We'll see you
Bye-bye.
guys next week. Appreciate your time.